You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Hi, I'm Ben Stiller from the Academy Awards snub movie Dodgeball. You know, this election is a lot like Dodgeball. Kamala Harris is the average Joe underdog, and no, this isn't a time for jokes. You know what? It's way too important. Donald Trump wants to terminate the Constitution. Project 2025 will give him nearly unlimited power. We can't let him get anywhere near the White House. So, vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah, see, that was better. The serious version was much better, right?
Paid for by Harris for President.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a smoker or dipper looking to make a change, you really only need one reason to do it. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you can find many. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch. It's made with only 6 simple ingredients. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Learn more about Zyn and find your reason to make a change by registering online at Zyn.com.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadow in it.
I am not above the criticism I'm about to levy, but this is, I believe, a very tepid Halloween effort from our show. I believe in sports television, we are doing Halloween less enthusiastically than everyone else in sports television.
Well, when we do Halloween like almost every day, like the day kind of loses its luster.
Yeah, it's like Valentine's Day. You know, some people make a big deal of Valentine's Day, and then other people are like, every day is Valentine's Day for me. So that's kind of the approach we're taking.
I have no idea what you are. We will unveil whatever you are on video in a moment. But as I'm looking at you, are you a windmill? Like, what are you?
It's very uncomfortable, but I would rather reveal on camera than describe.
Oh, behave.
Well, yes, you're the one that's most enthusiastically Halloween. Jeremy is, he's wearing a mask and forearm fur. And
I'm a jerwolf, Dan.
Get it? I mean, it is such a small lane you're trying to occupy, sports pun guy. Like,
no one else is doing it, Dano.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason no one has
Gotta
ever
find your niche.
tried that before.
I just found out our director thinks I'm Prince.
No. No.
I thought he was Elton John.
Stay tuned to see what I look like.
I mean, you just did a pretty good impersonation. Your father yesterday, one of his best shows ever, did he leave here floating on clouds because he brought props? He had 3 masks. He was so happy yesterday.
He was feeling himself so much that he sent Taylor to the game yesterday. He's like, I want to wag a finger in these guys' face. We sent Taylor, and then we quickly realized those guys were banned. So it's a funny egg to have on his forehead, my dad, of sending Taylor to find the 2 fans, and then they're not there.
Well, when he got on the plane, the news was that they were going to be permitted into Game 5, and then while he was in flight, the Yankees were like, oh, yeah, we can't really be attacking Mookie Betts. That's probably not a good idea.
Well, the Yankees weren't like that. MLB said, hey, you can't do this. And then the Yankees were like, fine, and that's where it all fell apart because all the energy was in those 2 guys, Dan.
I would say that the only World Series stat that the Yankees led in was attacking the wrists of Mookie Betts after an out. They
and
were,
errors.
And errors and base running mistakes, I suppose. I guess the positive one, the one that we'll remember for, I don't know, 10 more minutes, is that day those fans did that thing.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Our director, Jason, sounding more than a little defeated. Again, Chris?
That was part of it.
Again,
that
Chris?
Was like a little no, it was the thing that's scary at the end.
It was a zombie hand taking off the screen, Dan. You weren't watching.
Always got to fade down, brother.
Chris, I know you were busy getting into costume. I just need you to stop making that particular mistake at the beginning of the show.
It was a dismount on the whole open. Yeah.
What I was beginning to say is that Jason, our director, sounding really defeated, just said, I worked so hard to dress up this opening for Halloween, and then none of you dress up. That's Jason right there in the other room, dressed as a hot dog.
Yeah, I saw it was really funny this morning. I was going to the bathroom, and I saw Jason get out of the bathroom dressed as a hot dog, and also left the toilet seat up. Oh, no.
Jason.
It's a hot dog, man. What do you want?
Unbelievable.
Bare bones crew in there, huh?
I don't know what Amin's costume is. I don't know what he's doing. It reminds me, in college one year, not unlike today, I just sort of forgot it was Halloween, and so I took a 12-pack of Miller Lite. I took the holder and I just put it over my head, and I went out for Halloween as beer cans, and it wasn't a thought of costume. It makes me feel like what you're wearing right now.
You're not getting candy, by the way, if you come to my house with that. Just that.
Yeah, it was poor effort.
I'll drink you.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited to be here, man. Just to be sitting across from you, wow. The Dan Le Batard. And all of you guys, really. Chris, Mike. Oh, my God, Mike's in the studio. Jeremy, Roy, Tony, everybody. Being here is so awesome. Guys, I'm a fan.
Oh, dear God.
Now I get it.
What are you clapping about? That's good, you're saying? Oh, old Elton John over there, old Prince, old bloated Prince over there thinks that was good?
I'm actually a porn star just riding the wave of the week.
Are you guys not doing anything for Halloween? Because I legitimately forgot. I know that's a big upset around here. People were very disappointed when I walked in and I wasn't wearing a costume. Are you guys doing anything this evening?
I'll be trick-or-treating with my daughter. We're not buying this, by the way. We think you've got something up your sleeve and that you're going to
No.
You forgetting Halloween is just, something's up here.
No, not only did I forget Halloween, because the days are running together on me a little bit, Kristen came to me at the very end in a panicked emergency move, and she brought me, and I was very delighted that Meadowlark Media evidently has a closet where these things exist, an emergency Pop-Tart costume. But then I was told that Mike Golick on DraftKings had just been a Pop-Tart, and look, man. If I'm gonna either not do Halloween at all or do it with some pride. I can't be wearing the same dress to a gala that Mike Golick is wearing.
It was Gojo, Golick Jr. I don't know if there's a difference there, but yeah, you can't.
One's
you
a
can't
dad
follow.
and one's a son.
You can't. If either of them are wearing a Pop-Tart, you can't follow that. On DKN, I mean, it's just like we're right after them.
Oh my God, classic show, self-referential hijinks. I can't believe I'm part of this right now.
Amin doesn't have much use for all of Halloween's rules. Amin is a bit of a rule breaker. I really hope you break character as that excited fan. I hope that's not what you're going to be the entirety of the show.
I love this show, Dan. I watch every single day on YouTube, on the DraftKings Network. Oh my God, I just had a verbal gap. Oh, am I one of the guys? Am I going to have to go to the penalty box now? Oh, this is so cool.
This is going to get really old, too.
Going to get?
It's good so far.
Going to get really old. I was asking you a question, though. I was trying to do a show with one of my biggest fans.
All right. We're doing a show. Halloween rules. It's weird because, Chris, I don't know if your kid is going through this. My kids were told, hey, Halloween is Thursday. Everybody dress up. But no masks and no inflatables and no gore. And I said, so no costumes.
But no Halloween.
Right? I mean, what Halloween costume is devoid of all those things?
Was this at school you're talking?
At school, yes.
I kind of get the no bloody, but why can't I wear a mask?
I don't know.
Why can't I wear an inflatable?
I heard about this. I heard some parents complaining that their kids that masks were banned at school. Is there something that I don't know about?
Yeah, safety.
School shootings.
Yeah.
People can't just walk in with a mask and be like, oh yeah, that's a kid, and then it's not.
Okay. That's a good. All right.
You feel me?
All right. You know
Happy Halloween, everyone.
You know what?
Like Jeremy walking into school right now, it's like, yeah, is he a kid? I don't know. He's a Jerwolf.
I was longing for the quaint day when we were just arguing over masks, and I didn't think it was going to escalate that quickly to school shootings. But yes, of course, that's the reason that you can't wear masks anymore, because we've got guns in our schools.
Also, as someone who has gone trick-or-treating a lot of times, the reality that, the trick-or-treating happens the night of Halloween, no matter if it's a school night or not, doesn't make sense. All the grown-ups have their Halloween parties on the weekends. Why can't the kids go trick-or-treating on the weekends? Why don't we leave Thursday sacred? Because it's kind of ridiculous that we had Halloween parties last weekend, and we might have some Halloween parties this weekend, but the kids have to go on the 31st like it's some honor.
You think it should be on weekends?
Maybe the last Saturday of October?
Yes, the last Saturday of October should be Halloween.
Like Thanksgiving, you just keep moving it around so that it makes sure. Look at everyone's in agreement. This is
a great idea.
This is a controversial take. Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Should Halloween always be on a Friday? Because you are now rejecting it as a weekday holiday. You don't mind putting it on November 2nd. You don't care about that.
Well, it'll be November 1st. Or October 25th or whatever that was last.
I was just doing a random November 2nd in the future that's not October 31st, which I think of as Halloween. I wasn't thinking of the exact date this year. I'm just saying that you don't care at all. You don't want any. All you want is to be able to drink and not have to wake up for work in the morning. That's what you're rooting for.
No, I don't want my kids to have to go out trick-or-treating and then be told you can't have any candy because it's nighttime now and tomorrow you have school. And you got to get to bed, and that kind of stinks for them too. They want to go into the stash, and I'm like, not tonight, you're not.
It's a great take. Thanksgiving, Labor Day, those are moving targets.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys on candy for kids? Like how judicious are you? How careful? Tony is welcoming a child into the world. He can learn some things from our parents around here. Stugotz famously would just walk through the neighborhood with a double gin and tonic until he was on his knees by the time he came home at 7:30 p.m. What is the correct way to do Halloween with the candy, with the kids? How much of the candy? You're only allowed so much candy before bed, correct?
Tonight, she can do whatever she wants. Wow. I like to live dangerously.
We're going to do this all show?
Wow, Chris did one of his classic signature impressions. I was here for it.
Leftover candy sticks around the kitchen for maybe 2-3 weeks until you have the... You make the decision with you and your wife. We're just going to throw away the remaining candy.
It's me that I have to worry about more than my daughter.
Among the costumes that you guys have seen, so we talked about Myles Garrett video. Get some of the video that would show people what some people are doing, going to great lengths to be more clever than others, turning Halloween into something competitive. So you've got the pole vaulter from the Olympics, who the world record holder, who knocked over the what is that called? The pole to fall. What is it? Stick? Is that the formal
with
name?
his junk?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Is it the stick? Is it the? It's the bar. Okay. He knocked over the bar with his bar, and we had Myles Garrett showing up to the game in Arnold Schwarzenegger costume. What are some of the other good costumes you guys have seen? This Amin costume is not a good costume.
Oh, classic Dan Byrne. Oh, my gosh. I hope my friends could see me now.
You're going to really do this the entirety of the show,
I'm a fan.
aren't you?
Can't see you with that blade in your face.
I know. It's not a very...
That doesn't look comfortable. Everything you're doing looks uncomfortable. It looks... you're going to be regretting that costume in about 3 hours.
I mean, I have a question. So you flew from Phoenix like you usually do.
Yeah.
Did you have that with you? Did you take that with you? Or is that something that you DIY'd here at the Elser?
All right, so I was hoping there'd be a Tony Top 5 about this, but this is what happened. I had a costume that I was going to bring with me. I forgot it. Last minute, I forgot to pack it. So when I got here, I had to DIY a costume. And so I shout out to Rose and Kristen and everyone back there. Carmen.
We don't need an acceptance speech.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We just don't need shout outs to everybody. You can tell them privately.
But I'm a fan of them too, because they're all part of the thing that makes me happy, which is the creation of this show. And so I wanted them to get their flowers.
I can't believe how good you are slipping in and out of character. It's amazing. It's like watching Daniel Day-Lewis. It really is. I can't believe how well you just go from loving the show to going back to Amin. It's like you hide behind a curtain and disappear entirely.
Well, I'm still a fan. I don't know how I contradicted myself there. But anyways, Tony, we came up with the idea of a fan, and then I said, wait a second. We can do this a little bit better. So I got a hacksaw from GQ and like a blowtorch and
hacksaw?
stuff. Yeah, I had to hacksaw some stuff. Look, this is not easy to put together, but you know what? Worth it. Labor of love. Yeah, we're here now. How about that?
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan. Basketball season is starting. In the pros, there's nothing like it. The celebrities, the sights, the sounds, the in-game atmosphere. You want to be in that building. And sometimes tickets are in demand. So what do? You go to the secondary market. Well, you know where I go. Game Time. For me, the top of the line when it comes to the secondary ticket marketplace. Game Time has this new exciting feature that I can't wait to tell you about. It's called Game Time Picks, and it makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, it helps to make curation easier to save even more on sports, comedy, theater, and even more. And they've got all-in pricing. You hit a button, and there are no surprises at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Dan Le Batard.
You getting started on the breakfast flan?
Oh, man, I've been singing the song to myself all morning long. Breakfast flan.
Stugotz.
Have you never heard the breakfast flan song?
No, hit me with it.
Okay. I wish I had some breakfast flan. Breakfast flan. Where can I find a breakfast like that?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Thank you for mentioning the top fives, because I do want to go to a couple of top fives with Tony. I don't know if you've seen this. We've been telling you for about a week. Meadowlark Media made a documentary with Netflix, and it is one of the top documentaries since it came out. It's among the top 10 everywhere it is that you look, and Tony was enjoying. Tony was, I don't know if you were too young, Tony, because you were 10 years old, right, when the Red Sox are coming back from down 3-0 on the Yankees. You were very young.
I was probably, that was what, 03, 04 when those two series, I was 12 and 13. So I was still like starting to realize, oh wait, this is what happens here. Like, oh, that's a strikeout, this is that. Like, when you're young, you see the games, but you don't really watch them, right? Now you start watching them, it's like, oh wow, they came back 3-0. Like now the narrative is flipped, but 20 years have passed and we've kind of forgotten a lot of stuff that's happened, right? So I remember things that happened, but now I'm being reminded of those things.
These spaces that the sports documentary will more and more end up encapsulating, because all of the streaming services are trying to target fan bases, are a super interesting lane, because 10 years becomes nostalgia. Like, I can't believe that I'm watching Ray Lewis's defense, a defense that I saw in real time, and the 30 for 30 is, it's already old. The fact that we're going 10 years and assigning history to something, and this Red Sox team was 20 years, but it just wasn't that long ago.
It's pretty amazing that we're talking about the ALCS from 2004 before last night's clinching World Series win for the Dodgers.
Wow, Jeremy pointing out that baseball gets disrespected yet again in a more creative fashion. Oh my God. This is a dream come true. I'm seeing it all happen. I'm part of history right now.
It was a tough choice for me today to decide what should I celebrate more, the Yankees losing or Yankees losing this year, or the Yankees losing even more spectacularly 20 years ago. So I'd like to cover it all show, okay? I'd like to start with some of the origin story at the start of this century, but I'm going to have to kick Tony out to do this. celebrate this with a victory lap, please. Go to another room and let's finally uncage the victory lap on people, because Meadowlark Media can take a victory lap today. This documentary has been very well received. As you guys know, the internet and movies in general, these are not places where people agree on things. So to have the internet agree, yes, I like this documentary. I'm kind of tired of all things Boston, all of them, but I still like this documentary. That's a video. That's a victory for Meadowlark Media. So Tony, go find a place to give us a victory.
Dan, it's rare when the internet kind of looks at you and goes, thumbs up. That's kind of what we got, because it's like, it's not number one yet, right? We're trending to number one. We're at number 7 in the top 10, but like, that's a good job.
I started rooting for the Yankees just so Meadowlark's documentary could be more successful.
Same.
Because when the Dodgers put that thing to bed last night, I'm like, damn, that's probably a couple 100,000 right there.
Amin wandered away. He was ready to get New York obnoxious, and now today he comes in. Baseball doesn't matter. Baseball's tired. Baseball's old. This wasn't the series any of us wanted. We wanted drama. We didn't want the Yankees to fall apart, look bad. Now they're going to spend the offseason yelling at those guys. You want to see the best guys perform. You want Aaron Judge and Ohtani and Soto, those guys batting in big spots every time. And Freeman ends up winning the World Series MVP and deserves it. Like 4 home runs. It's such a random thing, right? Any point in the season, I can take a 5-game sample and somebody's going to be bad during a 5-game sample. But I make it during the World Series, and Aaron Judge is going to have to wear that for a while.
It's not sexy to talk about, but this World Series was won with defense and base running. Like, that really, in a few games, the Stanton terrible base running getting thrown out, the errors by the Yankees, like the routine plays. Like, there were 3 or 4, and these are not tough plays. That's like, okay, that's an error, but that was a tough play. Almost all of these, base, yeah. Almost all of these were routine plays. Just, I can just imagine Aaron Judge waking up today. Holy crap.
Well, this is not particularly fair, but it's simply so. He had to perform this postseason because the season that he had was totally crazy. The regular season that he had, it was just every time he hit a fly ball, the ball ends up going out of the park. I don't think the nation at large is going to enjoy a Dodger victory in this spot. People don't really root for, hey, we've got the best regional television contract and it helps us sign more players than everyone else and we're going to be in on Soto. But I was conflicted during this World Series for one reason more than any other. I could not have the fan base that tries to break Mookie Betts' wrists win the World Series. I didn't want to have an offseason of that. So I'm happy that the Yankees lost. But the place that I'm torn is, God, I wanted rewarded a team that didn't need any gloves and didn't know how to run the bases because they just hit the ball far. Because they just hit the ball 500 feet and they got a stupid right field and they got a home field advantage and they're hitting it out to the opposite field because they're a keg softball team. Of course, they don't know how to run the bases. They only were built to trot around them. Running around the bases in a sprint is not part of it. And frankly, if I'm being honest, wearing gloves, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Soto, if they didn't come to the park with gloves, I don't think I'd notice or care.
I don't know if we know if Volpe was wearing a glove the way he played defense in this series.
Oh my God, that play ranging to his right and just spiking it into the ground is
throw it to Jazz. Just throw it to him.
It's so simple. Just toss it. It's right there. You had an opportunity, and that spiraled completely out of control. Starting with Aaron Judge, who actually is a really, really good center fielder, as evidenced by the catch that he made against Freddie Freeman, just dropping a ball hit right at him.
Such a momentum sport, isn't it? Like, when things go bad, they go bad quickly and they go bad all in one direction. I do want to push back on one thing, Dan. You said that is Aaron Judge is a 5-game sample. And I would say, no, he was trash the whole postseason. He had 8 hits the entire postseason. So,
agreed.
So it's much bigger than a 5-game sample of him not performing. And that was kind of what made the World Series a higher stakes, because everyone thought, look, the year he had, that means he's due. That means he's due. So every big moment when he gets up to the plate, I remember at Game 1, I was at Game 1, and in extra innings, he gets up there and it's like, all we need, man, is contact on this. Just get it in play. And again, like, I just thought, like, oh, this is the moment. This is when he's going to hit like a 600-foot rocket and we win the game spectacularly. Instead, he just came up short again and again, other than I guess 2 nights ago.
No, that wasn't worth anything. You're right. not only that it wasn't just 5 games, it wasn't even just this postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge, this is a haunting thing, man. To have that season and have it fall apart at the end like that. I know I'm the guy who wants to celebrate the winners out here more than blaming the losers, but I do feel bad for how Aaron Judge is going to feel all offseason because he can't do anything about it now for months, and it's another postseason, and this one chewed up even Barry Bonds. Like, I remember watching Barry Bonds and just having him say, so frustrated, still hitting 200 in the postseason because of how they pitched him and because of how the pressure got ratcheted up. And he'd lose plate discipline. He just said flatly, my shit don't work in the playoffs. Like, said it flatly, and then post-steroids, he fixed all his postseason numbers in one postseason because he hit 400 home runs in one postseason. And maybe that'll happen for Judge, but one of the reasons this World Series is disappointing is because you didn't get much of anything from Judge and Ohtani, and those are the game stars, and we want to watch stars be stars. The franchises aren't the stars anymore. They'll get us to the television. The franchises, New York and Los Angeles, will get us to the television. But if you want us to stay and celebrate it and remember it and do documentaries on it 20 years from now, your stars got to be stars. That's Big Papi's got to be in the middle of coming back from down 3-0. It can't all be Kevin Millar. And so when we're watching Ohtani and Judge do that, it's like, and at 5 games, and we had moments. The thing gave you moments, like the idea that the Yankees were up 5-0 in that game and coughed it up at home. What was that sound?
That was just the sound of the frustration of a Yankee fan, man.
You're struggling with that costume, aren't you?
No.
You are.
You know what? I love being part of this so much that I will go through discomfort in order to commit to this bit, because bits is what this show is built on, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, behind the bit, you definitely don't want to miss those. Those have been very entertaining and informative to know all the behind-the-scenes things that happen to give us the entertainment that we've loved the last 20 years.
Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together with good drinks and good people. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka and is an official vodka partner of the NFL. And this year, Smirnoff is giving fans in select areas of the country a chance to win the ultimate game day experience. From tickets to sideline passes and much more, just head to WeDoGameDays.com until November 15, 2024 to enter for your chance to win. That's WeDoGameDays.com. Smirnoff, we do game days.
Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff No. 21 Vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. 21 plus. Ends November 15, 2024. See rules at website for participating area and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Inc., New York, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA is finally back. Thank goodness. And a new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and getting rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player prop. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN, that's D-A-N, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
Dan Le Batard.
No one else here is willing to do a Trump or a Biden.
That's not true, Dan.
Okay, Tony, you can catch
Man of 1,000 impersonations.
That's not bad, man.
Finally.
Not terrible. Pretty good.
Stugotz.
Yours is terrible. You just got to get a little redder, a little pinker. You're right there, man.
Yours is not. You're Biden.
What do you mean?
Oh, his is good,
That's
Dan.
actually not
His
bad.
is good.
Not terrible.
That's not terrible.
We got to come together.
A little southern
Little
twang
Bush.
there.
A little George Bush in that one.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Well, thank you for celebrating that, and we're going to celebrate with Tony in a second our victory lap at Meadowlark Media for making a documentary. But before we do that, while we're promoting things, celebrating yet another victory, Mike Ryan's oral history is another thing on the internet that has been almost universally celebrated. I have not heard a bad word about the oral history. Another one drops tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, this one's spicy.
Oh.
This one's really spicy. This one, truth be told, I had to save this one. I had to. I had to do a lot of politicking, and behind the scenes I had to save this one because this is where we cover a big breakup in this show, where the show was forever changed with Hoch leaving, and everybody has different sides, and Stugotz's almost convenient memory really muddies the waters here. So I think the listener's going to be a little bit confused, and I hope everyone has an understanding that, look, there are sometimes multiple sides to a story, but yeah, this one's was dicey making it, and I'm curious to see what the reaction is, not just from the fans of our show, but from the people involved.
You know, it's wild because from a fan standpoint, imagine being a Laker fan, but you started being a Laker fan like in 2008, right? And so they win 2 championships and they're great, and this is awesome, but you know there was a whole thing before this that happened, and it was also great, but it was a different great. But I didn't get to witness any of it. I would love to watch a documentary to teach me about it. That's what these oral history things are going to be about. So I want to know about this Hoch era because I didn't experience it at all. It was just something that I heard about from the elders. Oh, my God. You know what the greatest thing about being a fan is? The community of fans. There are other people, and we share these stories, and we share rumors and theories and stuff. So to debunk or to confirm many of these things by listening to this series, wow, what a joy.
Spicy, Mike Ryan says.
I like spicy.
Do you want to tease it in any other ways? I don't want to be unfair to any of the participants who could not speak up for themselves here, but is there any other framing or macro stuff without giving too much away? Because people have really enjoyed these. And if you're promising spicy, like one of the things that I am most grateful for around here is no offense to the others who compete to be a bigger fan of the show than the next person, but the people who have been here since the beginning, like since the very beginning, and have had their whole lives changed in the last 20 years with whatever it is that comes over 20 years, to ride with you from that space and remember this time and love what's going on at the end of those episodes where you're just going pure nostalgia on, oh, I remember that thing they did in 2006.
Yeah, I want to tip the cap to Ethan and Mike Malley, who have done a great job with this, particularly with those super cuts.
More acceptance speeches for the people outside.
It's just that it's
they
not
do a good job.
It's not like a documentary. You don't get to see credits on this thing, and they work hard on it. But all the feedback has been positive. Again, I haven't seen a negative comment from our fans, but I don't even think that the legacy listeners have a deeper appreciation for it, because part of the feedback that I've heard from non-legacy listeners, people that maybe found us because of ESPN, is they're grateful to hear how the show got to the point where they discovered it.
Yeah.
And sonically, there was... I was worried about this bit initially, but I think it actually has legs.
It might work all show. And I kind of just like it. I kind of just having someone next
the internet's so toxic, and just to have the positive reinforcement
Been a rough week.
of Amin.
I didn't litter, did I?
I really do feel like Amin is more supportive than usual, and even though it's totally insincere, it's made me feel more comfortable. I think I want to put in our contracts that we get more fawning.
The way that this, here's how I'll tease this oral history. Dan says one thing, Hoch says one thing. They're usually not in total alignment, and Stugotz confuses the hell out of you.
Playing both sides.
It becomes very clear to me. I've done my own deduction because this was a mystery to me too. Part of this was me getting my own answers, because when Hoch left, I addressed it in this episode, I didn't really talk to Hoch about why he was leaving, how he was leaving, and I just took it on my own shoulders to just keep chugging along. So I've wondered about these things.
Do you feel like you have better answers now?
Yeah.
Until Stugotz started talking.
Well,
He confused me too while we were talking. Honestly, I don't want to give away too much, but I will say that a couple of different times I'm learning something from Stugotz for the first time that he is saying in a microphone, and I'm like, oh, that's so. Okay, you thought you were doing highly questionable with me. Okay.
So the call was coming from inside the house. I've deduced when it comes to Stugotz has very convenient timelines for him. You have convenient timelines for you. We try to parse through all those rationalizations.
It's an investigation?
It is, and maybe one of the lead investigators did it.
You...
I have goosebumps right now.
So I mean, it's a good tease. You're saying the oral history so far is one of the most universally well-received things we've ever done, and you're promising in its 4th episode the spiciest episode yet.
There's a lot of instances where someone goes, and this is how this happened, and a voice just bombs in. That never happened that way.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a mess in that regard. But yeah, look, feelings are complicated, especially when you have time and it confuses how things went and you apply different rationalizations for different eras and you think you're right. A lot of this has been pretty revealing. And my takeaway from what happened with the breakup after listening to this episode was it's unfortunate that it happened like this because there was a miscommunication along the way. There were some resentments that sometimes were vocalized. Sometimes those resentments landed certainly the wrong way. When we talk about the Mark Hochman sports comic thing, there was so much truth behind things that he thought were genuinely playful that it just complicated a bunch of things. So I listen to it as a fan of that era, as someone that considers Hoch a mentor and one of the greatest producers to ever do this. I look at what happened there as relatively sad, because it's forever changed your relationship. I think people that have closely followed Hoch's social media posts or anytime he hops on a Reddit AMA, that something went sideways here. And I don't think we get clarity on all of that, but I think we have a better understanding.
You okay, Amin?
It's just so touching.
Well, that's not touching. It's
sad.
It is sad. Sad and touching are two different things,
Touching.
aren't they? 'Cause touching is usually positive. It's not negative.
I
right?
do hope that a happy byproduct of this is that we can all have our disagreements, but I do think, and I'm holding out hope, that there will be some healing in the making of this, not just for Dan, and certainly not just for Hoch, for the audience too, that kind of felt some kind of way about it and was confused as to why the former producer of the show ended up going to QAM and for a brief time locally going directly head to head. So it's interesting one.
I've never said anything about any of this. This is the only time I've ever talked about any of it.
And it's the only time that I've had the opportunity to ask Hoch pointed questions. I've been aware of what he thought his side was from, like I said, social media posts, but I've never had the opportunity to kind of corner him with context and really press on certain disconnects. And it was only until really this morning when I heard the most recent draft, because I'm still moving parts along, that I think I got closer to what happened there. And I can tell you privately, because I'm going to leave it for the audience to decide, because it's a little complicated. But I think one of the great mysteries, at least for my professional career, I have more clarity and I have a little bit more closure about it. And Stugotz is...
You've teased me. Like, I'm in on this.
There's something with Stugotz's timelines, because he's kind of co-signing on some of your rationalizations. And when Hoch comes up with a totally different story, and he says he has proof of certain things like, no, I wasn't talking to such and such because I was under contract with such and such. Maybe Stugotz had a different deal. So, do you feel teased?
I am thoroughly teased.
So teased.
Thank you for making this. Oh my gosh.
Somebody else has been teased. He's been sitting in or standing or running in another room here. It is time for Tony's Top 5. Tony is about to take a victory lap while holding an iPad. That's the wrong music. That is Tony's other Top 5. That's his football Top 5. This is the victory lap Top 5. It's a totally different Top 5, Elton John. Get it together, Fat Prince.
Do we have music for that? What?
Yeah, I don't think there's music for that
Okay,
one.
that's fine. It's a different top 5 list.
Just trying to
Chris,
fix
think
things up.
fast. Go to the subfolder called 1920s.
Yeah.
Just do this. This is
No.
Go to the 1920s folder and pull something out of your butt.
No.
Does Tony look like an NFL head coach?
Ooh, Coach Tony coming soon this week, by the way. Dan, thank you for throwing it over here. We are in front of Fenway Park, an incredible piece of history. Now, this top 5 doesn't need music, okay? Because we're going to be doing it to the sounds of Marcel Dinkins, the great-granddaughter of Mayor Dinkins. Incredible. She's doing stuff for Peloton. This is the Peloton app, by the way, which I'm going to be doing my victory lap on. We're going to be doing 15-minute interval running. So I'm going to have Jesse hold this so I can actually follow along with what's going on while giving my top 5. So, Dan, are you ready for the top 5 here?
I am, though. Although, in my mind, the victory lap would be something that by the time we came to you, you were already a little bit winded.
No, but see, that's not how the Peloton app works, Dan. I got to make sure that we're doing it by.
That's how the spin room works. I was hoping
this is not
close
that.
to the spin room.
No,
Okay.
this is not that.
I think it's exactly the spin room with just a different green screen.
I don't see anybody's
green screen.
Green screen. I'm in Boston. What are you talking about?
Okay, so go ahead. What do you got? Number 5.
No, we got OLIs, Dan.
Sorry.
So this is the top 5 of things I was reminded by Meadowlark Media's incredible documentary that's sitting atop. That's a 7 right now in Netflix on the planet, though, which is exciting.
Yeah.
All right. It's 7. Put it on the poll, please,
I gotta go to
Juju.
3. Hold on.
At Batard Show is in the top 7. Is 7 of 7 atop any lists? Go ahead.
All right. OLI number 1. Mariano Rivera. Wow, he was electric, huh? He was really good.
It's harder to do the victory lap jogging and talking.
Well, yeah, and I got to look at my phone, too. But Mariano Rivera, Dan, you think of him like, oh, yeah, he was great. Enter Sandman, the whole bit. But when you see him and these guys talking about him, like, oh, no, he doesn't make mistakes on the mound. If he made a mistake, you're the one that's lucky. He was just a lot better than we remember. Thank you.
That's an OLI, huh?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we remember him as the best ever. And
Yeah, but it's been 20 years, Dan. We're,
All right.
OLI number 2. Oh, yeah, Bronson Arroyo had cornrows. Forgot about that.
That's what I think of every time I hear that name.
Ooh, pizza this way. Hold on. Oh, let's get
All the way.
this way.
There you
Hold
go.
on. No, there we go. Okay. Number 5, we'll start here in a solemn place, but a place that reminded us of the greatness of him. Rest in peace, Tim Wakefield, the boy. Good dude. Number 4. Man, baseball mattered back then, huh?
Right?
Wow.
Not anymore, Tony.
It's so crazy. It is nuts how much baseball mattered just 20 years ago.
People were hanging out of cars, honking wind, like everything was incredible. The scenes were amazing. Seas of people just everywhere enjoying baseball. And then now it's like Jeremy with a wolf mask on. And we're like, yeah, okay, shut up, Jeremy. All right, number 3. Shots before Game 6 and 7 of Johnny Walker was electric. Back when you could do things, Dan, that you probably can't get away with now.
Old charming Kevin Millar drinking before games.
Just a shot.
Can I jump in here and remind people that this victory lap is presented by Peloton? Find your push, find your power with Peloton.
All right, and your push and your power.
Chris has some foggy glasses over there. I don't know what's going on. He's on the Peloton
Well,
too.
not just. Can I just point out that not only does Chris get the slogan wrong, but then he punctuates the ad by picking his nose on camera.
wrong.
It is push and power.
Picking
You
his
said it
nose.
exactly right.
Also, the foggy glasses are a throwback to when Dan used to wear glasses and used to fog up in the old Cleveland studio because it was so hot in there. Wow, we're really celebrating our history.
All right. Number 2. Theo was 28 when he took over the Boston Red Sox.
It's crazy.
What?
It's crazy.
I mean, I remember he was 28, but now being 32, I'm like, damn, at 28, give me the keys.
Yes,
We're going to make it happen, baby.
He's a Hall of Famer. The Cubs and the Red Sox hadn't won in a very long time, and he's won in both places.
We're going into 8 speed here with Dinkins. Hold on. All right, number 1, Dan. Kevin Millar, Hall of Fame, bro. There's nobody. I want to be Kevin Millar when I grow up. Kevin Millar is the most electric guy on TV outside of Jason Garrett.
It was an electric top 5.
He was so good, Dan. He's just got the vibes. The vibes were all the way up here. Incredible teammate, incredible bro, like Hall of Fame level bro.
Yeah, I'm with that assessment, actually. We saw, wasn't Kevin Millar either a scab or a Rule 5 player or something? And
Yeah, he was going to go to Japan. And then Theo they were actually very frowned upon. You don't usually claim guys that are going to go to Japan. It's known that they're going to go over there and they're going to do their thing. So everybody was pissed, and that was a part of Theo's legacy that he's like, I got to be bold. I got to be the guy to do things that nobody's done. And then he did it, and all of a sudden, bam, curse broken.
It's good analysis, though, by Tony, because Kevin Millar is not only Hall of Fame bro, he's Hall of Fame bro with enduring stay power, unlike Dan Uggla or someone of that ilk. Like, Millar was actually, you realize that Millar gets forever stardom in Boston as an otherwise, like, pretty mediocre player.
Oh, come on.
Whoa,
what are you doing there?
He had some good years.
Yeah.
Even before the Red Sox, he had some good years. But I think he's got staying power because he's such a good media personality. Like, A.J. Pierzynski stuck around. Dan Uggla is just not doing media that way.
It's like those two guys from the Yankee game the other night had the Yankees won the World Series. They'd be like Kevin Millar.
I feel like people remember Kevin Millar, the player, as just the guy who had the similar Gary Sheffield stance.
In 20 years, Meadowlark will do last night's series in documentary form.
Can I stop running now?
Howdy, loyal audience. It's Mike Ryan, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of football season, which means you've probably enjoyed more than a few tailgates, and right by your side at that tailgate is that beautiful white can of Miller Lite. From defending your favorite team after a bad loss to obsessively checking your fantasy lineups, football fandom is bigger than just Sundays. Miller Lite knows the passion that comes with rooting for your team, like the debate that sparked in 1975. Great taste versus less filling. So what's the best thing about the original light beer? Let it be both. It is for me. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality with great taste and only 96 calories. It's a beer that strips away everything that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that actually tastes like beer. And the original light beer since 1975. Make your game time taste like Miller time. Tastes great and less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.